Last week, we looked at the cost of capital and we looked at should we use debt or equity. This week, what we're going to look at to start is long term financing. Next week, we'll look at short term. It's odd that they don't go connected, but it's okay. Long term financing simply is borrowing money for more than a year. Right? When you and I take a car loan, that's long-term financing because most of us take a car loan for 5 to 6 years, believe it or not. So when you're looking at long-term financing, you need to think about how long is the long term? How long are you taking your loan for? Several years ago, I was taking a car loan, and the person at the dealership automatically went and said, okay, the normal car loan is 5 years, so starts doing all of the paperwork for me to take a 5-year loan. But I said, no, I only want it for 3 years. And that changed dramatically, not only the interest rate, but it changed my monthly payments. Believe it or not, the monthly payments actually went down when I went to 3 years, simply because the interest rate went down considerably. So as a business person, you're going to want to take a look and see how long should long term be. And again, there are lots of factors which you're going to look at when deciding how long you want to borrow the money for. Are you looking at different countries? Are you looking at different interest rates, different economic conditions? All those things are going to come into your decision as to how long term should be. So as we've asked the question numerous times already this semester, where are we going to work? Where are we going to borrow money? And embedded in this is also who's going to borrow the money. If we are borrowing it domestically, whose domestic location? Now, what does that mean? I don't mean to be talking in riddles. If a company needs money to expand a subsidiary, do they borrow it in their home country, exchange it, and then bring it to the subsidiary? Or do you allow the subsidiary to borrow the money in their own country? So let's look at this, say, from the subsidiary's point of view. The subsidiary needs to expand. Does it borrow the money domestically? If it borrows the money domestically, then that can be good, because you know your local banker, you know your local economic conditions, you know your local currency, you know everything locally, and so that's a great advantage. You also know the market conditions, you know all of that stuff. There's less risk for both the bank and for you. Unfortunately, the disadvantage is the local interest rate may not be the lowest interest rate available. There may be a lower interest rate in your neighboring country, or in the home country of your parent company. So does it make sense to look to that home country of your parent? So from the subsidiary's perspective, is there advantages to looking abroad? Sure, you may find a lower interest rate, but you lose the advantages of borrowing domestically. When you borrow internationally, do you necessarily understand the market conditions, or what's going to happen with exchange rates and things like that? So there's a little more risk going international than there would be in staying domestic. If interest rates are lower internationally, if you come to the conclusion that borrowing money internationally makes more sense, then you may want to hedge certain changes that you could anticipate. Specifically, the biggest thing you want to hedge are going to be either currency rate changes or interest rate changes. And two ways of hedging these financing decisions are with currency swaps or parallel loans. Currency swap is exactly what its name implies. You find somebody who has the currency you need, and you come to an agreement with them that you will exchange your currency for their currency at a given time at a different rate, and that at another predetermined time you'll swap your currencies back. All right. A parallel loan would be one in which Company A gives a loan to Company B's subsidiary in their country. At the same time, Company B gives a loan to Company A's subsidiary in their country. All right. And that sometime in the future, the subsidiaries pay back in the currency of the country where they're located. All right. So there are two loans going on at once between two different companies, but in the currency of that country. All right. So hedging may make borrowing money for an extended period of time in another country much more profitable. Right? So again, the question comes, how long should you take the loan for? One way to determine how long you should take your loan for is by looking at a yield curve. The yield curve looks at the relationship between how long you're taking the loan versus the cost. And usually that yield curve is an upward sloping curve, that the longer you hold the money for, the higher the interest rate or the cost of the debt will be. And so that would, again, encourage you to find the shortest period of time to take the loan for. Now, the problem with just looking at the shortest time is that you may not be generating enough return to be able to pay the loan back. So you need to balance when do you think you're going to have the money to repay the loan versus how long do you keep the loan for, what's the interest rate, etc. Right? So the shortest term may not always be, the best option depending on when you're going to have money available to repay the loan. Now, another question you're going to have to answer is, are you going to use a floating or a fixed exchange rate? Now, a fixed exchange rate, as its name implies, is fixed. It's set at the beginning of the loan and it stays that way. Now, this is a great way to go if you believe interest rates are going to go up. This way you can fix in an interest rate as low as you possibly can get it and then be set. On the other hand, if you think interest rates are going to drop, you may want to go for a floating interest rate. This is an interest rate that will change based on some other variable. In many cases, it's a secured overnight finance rate. But for you and I, when we get cars or more likely mortgages, and we go for a floating rate, that floating rate tends to be based on the prime rate. So as at fixed intervals, at fixed times in the loan, the bank will look at what is the variable you're looking at. In the case of businesses that SOFR, what has that rate gone up or gone down? And then the interest rate that you're paying is fixed to that. So if the SOFR goes up, your interest rate goes up. If the SOFR goes down, your interest rate goes down. So you can try to forecast what the SOFR is going to be, and kind of guess as to what the cost of your loan will be. So it all depends on whether you think the rate is going up or going down. So it could be complicated which one you take. Choosing a floating interest rate may be a good choice, especially if you feel the interest rates are going to drop. But you may want to protect your position. Again, if you're borrowing millions of dollars, you're going to want to make sure you didn't choose the wrong rate. So what we're going to do in the next lecture is to look at ways of hedging interest rate changes. Okay, see you shortly.